I believe in counseling and not in selling, says Ruchika Castelino. Welcome to moneyHOP Q&A section. Today we have Ruchika Castelino with us. She has over 26 years of experience in international education sector. She has sent numerous students abroad every year. She is an independent counselor. So let's get started. Here is the first question. As you know, a lot of students would be applying for various foreign universities every year. So, after applying for the university, should students follow up? Will that help? Can you shed some insights on that?
So if you've submitted your application and you've also submitted all the prerequisite documents along with your application, then no, there should really not be any need for you to follow up, at least immediately, with your university, because you do need to give them the time to process your application and the thousands of other applications that they may have received. Usually there is a stipulated time, and most universities will let you know on their website as to when they start getting back with their decisions to the students. Now, in rare cases where there's been some kind of a mistake, an error in your application, or some kind of very important critical update that needs to be added, only in those rare cases are you really required to contact the university, right? And how do you contact them? Well, in most cases, universities will publish an inquiry email ID or even a telephone number, and this should be on the university's admissions pages on their website. So this is a good way to, do any kind of follow-up, but only if required. Again, in rare cases where you have waited long enough and you have not heard back from the university, of course, in those cases, you should and you can write to the university's admission department, quoting your application number and requesting them for an update.
Ruchika, yeah, that's pretty much well explained. So now, can we talk about visa? So what are the common reasons for visa rejections?
There could be many reasons why your student visa could have got rejected. And of course, it's important to understand why, and that will differ from case to case. However, one of the most common reasons for a student visa rejection is lack of evidence of sufficient funds, or even, not enough or improper documents to prove that you have enough funds to study abroad. Now, the other reason is that somewhere your application may not have been able to prove your genuine intent of being a student in, applying to be a student in another country. Now, this is a factor that I would like to highlight, because from my experience, I find that many students and sometimes even their parents don't really appreciate the fact that the onus of proving that you're a genuine student, a genuine applicant, is really solely on you. And your application, through your documentation and a lot of other factors as well, needs to really prove to the visa officer, who doesn't know you personally, right, that you are a genuine student.
Now, moving on to the next question. What types of scholarships, financial aids, or grants are available for international students?
Yes, there are many scholarships available for international students specifically who wish to study abroad. So these scholarships are offered by government bodies. So you may have heard of the Chevening Awards or the Fulbright scholarships, for example. There's too many for me to mention. They are also offered by corporations. The Tata Scholarship is available, for example. Or they could also be offered by the universities themselves. So the main thing for you to find out if you're an international student is that particular scholarship should be meant for international students, because sometimes there is a distinction. Certain scholarships are not open to international students, right? Now, there is another term called financial aid, which is slightly different compared with scholarships, right? Financial aid usually is need-based. Now, when I say need-based, it doesn't mean that there's no merit involved, right? Because obviously, when students are being selected for financial aid, and believe me, at least for international students, the financial aid is quite limited. they are choosing the best students. So merit is definitely involved in financial aid also. However, the university will assess the need of the individual student. They will look at the finances, how much the student can contribute towards their education, and then they will decide how much financial aid to offer. So I hope that helps students to understand the various financial opportunities they may have to help fund their education abroad.
Here is the final question, Ruchika. So let's talk a little bit about the financial aspects of things. So, what unforeseen expenses students usually encounter when they are studying abroad? So, can you tell us some steps to navigate it?
Well, one of the most unexpected expenses that, I think most students and parents don't really plan for when they are considering studying abroad could be to do with the currency exchange rate. Now, sometimes it does happen that there is a sudden increase in the currency rates, and that can, of course, really, really throw you off guard. So it's always good to kind of anticipate and maybe keep a little buffer in terms of your finances. Of course, there can be many other unexpected expenses. And I mean, it happens even when you're studying within your own country. So obviously, when you're studying abroad, there could be unexpected expenses that you have not taken into account. Those could be even unrelated to your studies. Sometimes it could be a trip that you wish to take during your holidays. It could be something addition related to a hobby or an interest that you have. So obviously, depending on the situation, I think it's always good to put in a little bit of a buffer when you are doing your financial planning to study abroad.
Thanks a lot, Ruchika. It was a very, very insightful session. I believe students greatly benefit from it. Thanks a lot once again.